Hello and welcome. My name is Fee Rye. I am a nutritionist and lifestyle medicine practitioner and a product specialist for the Juice Plus company, Australia and New Zealand. Today we are going to look at what I refer to as the hidden heroes of health. We are going to jump into the importance of micronutrients in our daily lives. So let's jump in. So what are micronutrients? Well, micronutrients are simply vitamins and minerals, and they are required in small amounts for critical bodily functions. They play a crucial role in maintaining overall health, and these essential nutrients support a range of physiological functions, including immune defense, cognitive performance, cardiovascular health, and cellular metabolism. And while a well-balanced diet provides the necessary micronutrients, unfortunately modern dietary patterns often result in deficiencies. Unlike macronutrients, which are our carbs, proteins, fats and alcohol, they do not provide energy or calories, but are essential under the two main categories of vitamins, which are organic compounds, and minerals, which are inorganic elements. So let's start with vitamins, and I'm sure that many of these are very familiar to you. And we're going to start with in the alphabetical list with vitamin A. And vitamin A is all about vision, immune function, and skin health. And the sources of vitamin A are sweet potato, carrots, and spinach. Actually, as we're going along, take note of what vegetables and what foods I mentioned today that you know that you're getting in your diet on a regular basis. Moving into vitamin B, we have a lot of varieties of Bs. B1 converts food to energy and is vital for skin and nervous system. The sources include soy products and salmon. B2 aids in energy metabolism and supports healthy blood. Sources are dairy, whole grains, and leafy green vegetables. B3 is responsible for assisting in the energy production and also very important for our circulatory health. Sources are poultry, mushrooms, potatoes, and peanut butter. B5 plays a role in lipid metabolism, it's fat metabolism, and neurotransmitter synthesis. So really working on making sure that our neurotransmitters are working correctly in our body. B5 is also important for hormone production, and the sources are chicken, broccoli, avocados, and tomatoes. So when you think about it being important for hormone production and that we are getting our B5 from poultry, it becomes really evident as to why we need to consider the quality of our poultry. And making sure that it's hormone free so that it doesn't manipulate our hormones by the hormones in the poultry. B6 is responsible for regulating amino acids involved in sleep, appetite and mood, while also supporting our red blood cell formation. So very important, B6. Sources are fish, legumes, potatoes and bananas. B7 is essential for glucose synthesis, fatty acid breakdown, hair and bone health, and the sources are whole grain, meat, egg yolks, and soybeans. B12, another very important B, supports red blood cell formation, but also nerve function and DNA synthesis. And the sources are meat, poultry, fish, milk, and eggs. The vegan source of B12 comes through a fermentation process because B12 is predominantly, as I mentioned, meat, poultry, fish, milk and eggs, and animal products. But the B12 fermentation process provides an option for vegans. Vitamin C, collagen synthesis, keeping our beautiful skin, antioxidant and immune health. And of course we know where we get our vitamin C: citrus fruits, berries and capsicum. Moving on to vitamin D, very important for our bone health, our calcium absorption, and we get that from sunlight, fatty fish, fortified dairy and UV treated mushrooms. And vitamin E protects our cells from oxidative damage and may contribute to neurological health. So those sources for our vitamin E are vegetable oils, leafy greens, whole grains, and nuts. Vitamin K plays a critical role in blood clotting and bone metabolism, and the sources of K are cabbage, liver, broccoli, and kale. So, a brief introduction there to all of our vitamins and where we're going to obtain those vitamins from. So how did you go? How did you go with where you are on a regular basis with your diet and ticking off some of those foods? So we are going to pop into our inorganic elements, into our minerals, and there are 15 of these, and I am going to talk about each of them. Again, what they're responsible for and where you are getting them from. And as you can see just from the slide, I think you pretty much know the answer. The answer is whole foods, but different foods will provide those different minerals, and where you are lacking in your diet or your regular dietary intake in some of these foods will mean that you are lacking in some of these important minerals. So take account of what foods you are eating and what minerals you're getting, and maybe what food you're not eating and what minerals you're missing out on. So we'll start with calcium, bone and teeth health, muscle function, and of course dairy is always the first place we go. Broccoli, kale, tofu, salmon and celery are also sources of calcium. Iron is very important for oxygen transportation in our blood. It's also important for energy production, and sources: red meat, lentils and green vegetables. Zinc is essential for our immune health and particularly wound healing as well. Sources of zinc include shellfish, nuts, seeds, beans, and red meat. Magnesium. I'll talk a little bit later about magnesium, but magnesium is important for muscle relaxation and nerve function. Sources of magnesium include nuts, seeds, green leafy vegetables. Potassium regulates our fluid balance and muscle function and our blood pressure. The sources are bananas, avocados, grapefruit, and fish. Selenium is a potent antioxidant, and it really supports our thyroid function. We have selenium coming from meat, fish, and walnuts. Now sodium, sometimes sodium gets a really bad rap, but it's actually essential for nerve signaling and muscle contraction. We need sodium in our bodies. You might be aware that some marathon runners might use salt tablets or salty performance drinks to help them, particularly during an event, because it is important for nerve signaling and, as I said, muscle contraction. Very important. For us non-marathon runners, we can find our sodium in salt. However, we want to be looking at a quality salt. Not all salt is created equally, so to speak, when it comes from the supermarket. So minimally processed. So looking for a Celtic sea salt or a pink Himalayan salt, or even the good old Australian salt bush can provide some sodium for our diet. Sulfur. Now sulfur contributes to healthy skin, hair and nails, and we get sulfur from a lot of animal products, so meat, fish and poultry, but also from legumes. Copper is important because it supports the iron metabolism and the red blood cell production. Copper comes predominantly from liver, shellfish, but nuts and seeds are also rich in copper. Iodine is critical for that thyroid function again, and metabolism regulation. So sources, once again, we're popping back to our salt, our iodized salt, and seafood. Phosphorus helps build and protect bones and helps in energy conversion. And the sources are dairy products, meat, eggs, and almonds. Chloride regulates body fluid balance and aids in digestion and is also found in our salts. Chromium enhances insulin function for blood sugar regulation. We get that from meat, eggs, poultry, and once again, our nuts. Manganese supports bone formation and metabolism. Sources: fish, legumes, whole grains, and you guessed it, nuts. How many nuts are you having a week? Molybdenum is assisting in detoxification processes and amino acid metabolism. And milk, legumes, and once again, nuts are the source. So as you can see, you need quite a variety of whole foods to ensure that you are getting in those minerals. And where you are eating a whole food diet that's good quality, rich in nutrients, and crosses all of the spectrum of nuts, seeds, vegetables, fruits, calcium sources, meat or legumes, whatever you're choosing for your protein source, making sure that you are getting a variety. But as you heard, nuts and seeds do come up often, as do legumes. So are you getting any legumes into your diet? And I might not be talking about baked beans here, maybe something a little less processed. So maybe considering adding some of those into your weekly meal plans. So when you're considering your meal plan for the week and what you're going to be eating or with your family or on your own, consider the diversity of colours. And the diversity of colours bring a range of diverse nutrients and therefore the variety of vitamins and minerals that we need for all of those functions that we've just spoken about. A whole food diet, including lean meat and protein sources, is essential, as we've just heard. If you are vegetarian or vegan, ensuring that you're getting sufficient legumes and protein and tofu and tempeh and soy products to receive that level of diversity that you need as well. Opting for whole fresh foods over processed items is very important. So considering minimizing processed foods in your house. And that even comes down to sauces that you might be using. Consider opting for flavors from oils and maybe lime juice and lemon juice, and adding those nuts and seeds to your vegetables or to your salads to give it not only a nutrient boost but also a diversity of texture and flavor. And you might find that you don't need as much of the processed sources. I want to talk about deficiencies a little bit, because micronutrients are so crucial for normal metabolism and tissue function. And when you're deficient or taking in excess, it can result in adverse health outcomes. So making sure you're not doing too much of a good thing. Micronutrient requirements really should be met through that healthy and varied diet. And vitamin A, so folate, iodine, iron and zinc are the most common micronutrient deficiencies worldwide, and they contribute to perinatal complications, poor growth and cognitive impairment, also an increase in morbidity and mortality. But an adequate intake of micronutrients is essential, as we've mentioned, for optimal health across all life stages. And while micronutrient deficiencies are preventable, they do continue to be frequent worldwide. Vitamin D deficiencies in cooler climates and those with dark skin are prevalent, but also, interestingly, magnesium deficiencies are common in populations who are diagnosed with ADHD. And generally we're talking about kids. And when you think about our population of kids and our statistics showing that less than 6% of Australian and New Zealand kids are eating 2 fruits and 5 vegetables a day, we open up Lunchbox and we know that there's a lot of processed foods in there. So if these kids are missing out on whole food options and they're missing out on the vitamins and minerals that are essential, then the correlation between these deficiencies and food choices becomes very, very evident. So really considering what's going in and We use the term fussy eaters. Totally understand that concept as a parent. However, finding ways of getting the right nutrition in is essential for our, not only our health but our kids' health as well. If you are unsure of how much is the right amount and how much is too much, then jump on the Australian Guide to Healthy Eating, because they have these amazing calculators that specify requirements for all ages, so that you can check that out if you're interested. Australian Guide to Healthy Eating. Where does supplementation fit in? Well, supplementation is definitely an option when dietary intake is insufficient. So when you take a minute to think about all of the whole foods I mentioned as sources of our micronutrients, and what you are doing, what are you eating enough of, what are you not getting enough of, nuts, seeds, legumes, leafy greens, fruit, vegetables, eggs and meat. So really doing a bit of a checkup on your own diet and identifying where you could be missing out on some important and essential vitamins and minerals. But I do want to talk a little bit about supplementation. This leads me into the Juice Plus product range, and specifically today I'm going to talk about our capsule range. The Juice Plus products were designed to bridge that gap between what we are eating and what we know we need to be eating to bring in those essential nutrients. The key ingredients are derived from over 30 fruits, vegetables and berries, and I've listed them all on this slide. They're concentrated whole food nutrient in a capsule form. And our omega blend is cold pressed seed oils, providing omegas 3, 5, 6, 7 and 9. So again, reverting back to some of the foods that I mentioned earlier, you will find many of them on the list on this slide. So we grow our produce, our fruit, veg and berry produce is grown on farms. We have an amazing quality assurance program that is checking for any contaminants, seed to soil to plant to capsule. And we basically want to position these amazing products as a bit of a safety belt, so that when you go out in the morning, you know that you've got some bases covered. It's never meant to replace eating. It's not what Juice Plus is about. It is meant to top up our micronutrient intake from the variety of fruits and vegetables, seeds and oils that you can see on your screen. So harnessing those beneficial whole food powders, and I do mean whole food because we are using the skin and the seeds, all of it's utilized. It's actually quick frozen after harvest and then minimally processed. It's never heated in order to obtain those precious nutrients, and we have plenty of research on our capsules. Now I want to have a chat a little bit about evidence-based results when it comes to our fruit and vegetable, berry and omega blends, because I know personally this was something that really struck my interest when I first heard about Juice Plus, and how much they put their product on the line for researchers to have a look at. In the Australia-New Zealand market, we have over 25 peer-reviewed gold standard journal publications that we can speak to. And these 4 products are listed on the ARTG, so the therapeutic goods listing. And part of that listing means that our evidence is put forward to the TGA, and then we come up with a list of permitted indications, is what we like to call them, as to what we can talk about when it comes to what these products have done for people. So always human testing over various periods. Now, a lot of our research is actually based on a 16-week protocol, because that is how our product is provided, over a 4-month protocol, because we want that consistency. We want to get past that 90 days of cellular renewal and into the next 30 days after that, knowing that that last period, that last 30 days of the 120-day period is really when you are going to have all your cells pumping along full of amazing micronutrients, and with that new cellular renewal, knowing that you've given those cells the best opportunity. So that is why it is provided on a 4-month subscription, but also that is why we do a lot of research on the 4-month. We want to know what happens over that period. Our company works with amazing universities that come to the company with the idea of doing some research. The question is of the research is then worked out and considered, making sure that we don't already have research on that particular area of health, and then the scientists go to work. As part of their research, we must provide them with the product and also the placebo. So when people talk about the financial contribution to research, we definitely do, because we are providing the product, and depending on how many participants are in each research, that can be considerable. So the researchers go away, they do their research, they come back and report through a journal, and then if it's accepted, peer reviewed and found to be of a quality standard, it is then published in various publications. And as I mentioned, we have over 25 in the Australian New Zealand market. And you can see some of the indications on your screen of what these products do within the body. And so that concludes our presentation today. I hope that you have learnt something around the benefits of ensuring micronutrients are in your diet and where they come from and what they are for. You can always come back to this recording and revisit when you are thinking about your own diet, making sure that you are getting the right whole foods into your diet regularly, to make sure that you are getting those essential minerals and vitamins. And of course, if this has been shared with you and you are interested in more information on our products, please do reach out to the person that shared this video with you so that they can help you on your Juice Plus journey. Thank you so much for joining me.